In this video, we're going to look at binary search tree, and we're also going to see its Kotlin implementation. So, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, so you'll be notified when the next video drops. So, a binary search tree is a binary tree in which every node satisfies the following property. All values in the left subtree of a node are strictly less than the node's key, and all values in the right subtree of a node are strictly greater than the node's key. Both left and right subtrees are themselves binary search trees. So that didn't make much sense, right? But it will. So this is the root, and this is the left subtree. All the values of the left subtree will be strictly less than the root, which they are. As you can see, 1, 3, 4 are less than 5. And on the right subtree, you're going to have values that are strictly greater than 5, which is 8 and 6. And this thing is going to follow for every node. Like, if you take 3 as the root, then you're going to have 1, which is less than 3, and 4, which is greater than 3. And they're going to be on the left and the right, respectively. As 1 is smaller than 3, it's going to be here. 4 is greater than 3, it's going to be on the right. And there's also going to be a case where both of them are absent. That's also valid. Okay. Now, you're going to ask, what is a binary tree? Well, a binary tree is a hierarchical data structure where you have children nodes, you have a parent node, and you have children node. So, children nodes can only be at most 2. You cannot have more than 2 children nodes. Okay? The range is from 0 to 2. Yeah, that's about binary tree. And you're going to ask, what is the height of a tree? Well, the height of a tree is just the distance from the root to the deepest node, which is 1 and 2. You can just count the number of edges which lead you down to the deepest path, which in this tree's case is 2. So the height of this tree would be 2. Now you might ask, what is the time complexity of a binary search tree? Well, the time complexity of a binary search tree varies a lot, and if the binary search tree is balanced, it's going to be O log n, which is great. But what if you add such values in binary search tree which just increase, like 5, 6, 7, 8? They're just going to increase on one side, right? So in that case, you're going to have an O of h time complexity, which is basically O of n if we generalize it. So here, 1, 2, 3. That's the number of edges, so the height would be 3. So basically, it's going to be O of h, the time complexity, which is bad. And, well, it's not that bad, but when you look at O log n for a balanced binary search tree, it looks really bad. And you have some variations of binary search tree, which we're going to talk about in later videos, like AVL tree, where the tree can self-balance. It's going to balance on its own using rotations, left or right rotation, to, fix itself on its own. And we have that tree to make sure that the binary search tree stays in O log n operations for the time complexity. Yeah. Now let's look at implementation of binary search tree in Kotlin. Okay, so I'm going to be implementing it inside a Kotlin notebook, which you can create inside IntelliJ IDEA, a Kotlin notebook. So let's begin. So we're going to define a class binary search tree. And we're going to have a node. Okay, a data class for the node. And this node will have a key, as we talked about. And it's going to have a left and a right node. So the node can be null, as explained before. And there's going to be left and a right node. And both are null initially. And we have the root, which is just private by default. Of course, you're going to have to define its type, which is null of type node, nullable node type. Okay. Then we have insert function to insert values inside our tree. Of course, we're going to have to give it the key parameter, which would be an integer. Yeah. Now we're going to give it insert rec, which is insert recursively. So we're going to pass it the root. We're going to pass it the key. Now let's define the insert rec function, which is going to be private insert rec node of type nullable and key of int, and it's going to return a node. Yeah. So if the node is null, then return node object with the key. So basically, if the node turns out to be null, then we're going to return a new node. Return a new node with value key. And now the real cases begin. So if the node you're trying to insert has a key value which is greater than the current node, then it's going to go right, like we saw before. So we're going to have the right node of this current node. We're going to take the right child and we're going to call the function on the right child of the current node with the same key. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it in just a moment. And if the key is less than the current key, then we're going to have the left child and we're going to give it the left and the key. Yup. Otherwise, we're just going to return the node. Okay, so basically this is what happens when the root is null and there's nothing in your binary search tree and you try to insert a value. It's going to see that your node is empty. Your root is empty that you passed. Okay, and when that happens, it's going to return a new node with the value that you were trying to insert. So that returns it and your function is exited and your new node was inserted. Simple. But what if there's already a node inside your binary search tree? Well, in that case, it depends. If your new node is greater than the key that was already present in the binary search tree, then it's going to go right. and when it goes right, we're going to do that using this insert function again and calling it using the right subtree, right link of the current node, and giving it the key, which is what we're trying to insert. Okay, so it's going to go right and look for an empty space so that it can return the node, so that it can add that node to an empty space. Otherwise, if what you're trying to insert is less than the current node, then it's going to go left recursively and find an empty place there. And this is going to happen for every node in the binary search tree. If your node is greater than the parent node, then it's going to go right. And if it's smaller than the parent node, then it's going to go left. And it's going to keep doing that till it finds the appropriate place where the node is null and it's appropriately smaller or greater than the parent node. Okay, next we have the in-order and post-order traversal. So the in-order traversal happens when you traverse the left node and then the parent node and then the right node. So we're going to call the in-order rec function recursively, in-order recursively with root, and then we're going to define it. It's going to take a node, which is going to be null, which can be null. And if node, inside it, we're going to have if node is not null, then execute whatever is inside this block. So what's going to happen is it's going to call the function on the left child, then it's going to print, it's going to print the value node.key. Let's add some space, and then it's going to call the function again on the right child of the current node. And that's in order traversal. Now let's write the function for post order, which can be copied from in order. We're just going to have post order here and here. And what happens in post order is that your root is printed at the end, like so. So first it traverses the left subtree and then the right subtree, and then it prints the root. That's what happens in post order. So let's run this code. And now let's define our tree. Wait a second. Tree equals binary search tree. Now this is already in a library, but we have our own. Isn't that what we call it? Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, we were missing that. This is not Python. Okay, so tree.insert. Insert. Okay. Well, I'm just going to insert random values inside it using the for loop. I in 1 to 10. It's going to insert a random value from 1 to 100, like so. And yeah, that did it. Now let's try the in-order traversal. And we can just add some of these print line calls and run our functions again, run our code blocks again. And let's try it out. Okay, what's wrong again? Okay, so the problem was I never reinitialized the root, and it was always null. And that's why we weren't seeing anything over here in post order and in order. There was no result earlier, and that's why that was happening. Okay, so post order is going to display the root values later and the left and the right values first.